Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. On this channel I talk about nursing, I talk about immigration, travels. If you don't know me, my name is Nurse Sylvia. I work and live in the UK. Okay, on today's topic, guys, we are going to talk about the steps to get your permanent residence in Australia. I know you guys have been asking me that. I've had a lot of questions about it, so today I'm gonna spill the tea. So welcome and stick around. So guys, if you don't already know, I have my license in Australia as a nurse to practice as a nurse. And a lot of people have been asking me, when am I going? What visas am I using? Today, I'm going to tell you the steps to go about your PR. That is your permanent residence to Australia. So if this is what you're passionate about, stick around and let's dig in. Of course, before you think of going to Australia, you should think of which visas you want to go with. Is it the temporary visas? Is it the permanent visas? Or is it just the working visas that you just need? Okay, so today I'm just going to specifically talk about the steps, the requirements you need to get the PR visas. And of course, the PR visas in Australia are the 186 visa, which are the employment-based visa, which you need an employer to give you the sponsorship to get the permanent residence. Okay, the next one will be the 189 visa, which is the independent subclass visa, okay, that you don't need an employer. The 190 is the state nomination visa, which you need a state to give you some points. And then we have the 491 visa, which are the permanent residence. But if you stay for 3 years in Australia, you'll be given the 190 permanent residence and apply for that. Okay, before I start, I just want to make it clear that I'm not an immigration lawyer. I'm not affiliated with any immigration officer, and this is based on my research, and I will be showing you on the screen from the Australian immigration website. Okay, as well, check Australian Government Department of Home Affairs. That's where you see all of this. Okay, just do your research. What I'm giving you now is based on my research, my own experience as well. Okay, the first thing will be check your eligibility. Are you eligible for permanent residence in Australia? You need some criteria. Okay, examples like your age, especially if you're between the ages of 18 years to 45 years. These are the people that are very eligible. Of course, there are other subclass visas that are for people 45 years and above. Okay, for this one, I'm just going to talk about basically for 18 years and 45 years. Okay, so they also check your age, like I said, your skills, your work experience, if your profession is in demand, like nurses and doctors, teachers, you know, all of that. If your profession is also in demand, you should also say, okay, probably I'm ready. All right, so again, your English proficiency, IELTS, PTE, do you have up to band 7 and above in your IELTS? That's your International English Text exam. Okay, do you have band 7 and above? Then you get your skills assessed, like I talked about the professions, okay, that are needed. Get your skills to be assessed, like if you're a nurse, get your skills assessed by the ANMAC. Okay, for the ITs, ACS. For the engineers, Australia, that's where you get your skills assessed. Okay, so you get your pay slips, get your job offer letters, proof of employment and roles. These are what you need to present when you want to get the PR in Australia. Okay, and then again, most importantly, to calculate your points. So I'm just gonna do a different videos talking about in detail how to do your calculations to get your points. Okay, so stick around on this channel, don't go anywhere. So back to the points, right? You know, the point calculator, your education, if it's inside or outside Australia, there's some points for it. The English language, whether you're competent, proficient, and all of that, there are different marks for that, different points for that. Your age as well. At least you get if you get up to 65 points, you are eligible to apply. Yes, I think a lot of people wait till they get to 85 points before they can apply. Okay, but I think 80 plus is one of the highest. Okay, so if you get a 65, you are eligible to apply. Okay, so of course, more years of experience, more points, bachelor's degree, master's degree, skills assessment. If you have a positive skills assessment, also is a good thing. And after that, you have to submit expression of interest, right? You have to like submit and say, I am interested in this PR. Okay, submit your that's the expression of interest, to say I'm interested. But make sure that you're ready. You have up to 65 points before you submit expression of interest. Okay, yes, and then you choose the PR you want to go for. Like I explained, is it the 189, the 186, the 190 that you're going with? Now, once you get invitation to apply to them saying, okay, you need to apply. Remember, the 190 is the state nomination. Maybe you apply to Victoria and they say, okay, we can let you come, and they give you 5 points. Okay, so if they give you an invitation to apply, you have 60 days to lodge the application. Don't forget, 60 days, okay, to lodge. That's about 2 months. Remember, you also need a police clearance from all the countries you've lived in for over 12 months. You need medical exam to certify that you're fit, identity documents, relationship proof. And then, guys, remember that the waiting times, that varies. Like some people 6 months, 1 year, especially the PR, of course, is very demanding, especially 189 that is independent. A lot of people have lodged an application. You can wait up to 2 years. Yes, you can wait up to 2 years. But then again, once you have a high score above 80, be rest assured that you are likely to be called earlier. Okay, so that is that for that. So if you're ready, you've calculated your points, you can now say, okay, I am ready to go ahead. What are the things to do? So I'll be talking about the visa categories, the PR visas. So I will start with the 186. Like I said, is employer nomination scheme, subclass 186 visa. So you need an employer to actually sponsor you on this. Okay, so it's more like the way UK, we need an employer to sponsor us, but this time is for PR, not just for working visa. Okay, once you apply, some people get it as soon as 2 weeks, but then again, it is competitive even for nurses. I mean, I know it's a big challenge now to get an employer that sponsors for 180s visa. Make sure you have your positive skills assessments by ANMAC, you have your English language requirements and all before you say you want to go with the 186. For the subclass 186, employer nomination scheme visa. This visa lets skilled workers who are nominated by their employer live and work in Australia permanently. Basic eligibility. You must have the necessary skills for this job. You must be nominated by an Australian employer. You must meet our health and character requirements. That is, first of all, you have to have the skills for this job. Like, for example, the nurses, of course, you have to get your skills assessment done by ANMAC, and then you must be nominated by an Australian employer, probably the hospital you've applied to. If they're happy, they have to be the ones to nominate you, and you must meet the health and character requirements, as the police clearance, your medical checks, and all of that. So it is direct entry stream. Okay, the visa lets skilled workers who are nominated by an employer live and work permanently in Australia. You must be, yes, as I said before, you must have at least competent English. Okay, your occupation must be on the relevant list of eligible skilled occupation. You must be nominated by an Australian employer, and you can stay permanently. The cost is from 4,770 Australian dollars, and then of course the processing time, because it varies from individuals, right? So you can check with the visa processing time guide too for that. So there are other temporary residency visas, which are the temporary residence, transition streams, and all of that. Okay, the next one will be the 189 skilled migration visa. This is an independent one that you need a positive skills assessment. Again, your IELTS that is above band 7. in all, both writing, speaking, listening, and reading. Okay, make sure you have 7 and above points. Okay, and it's a point test stream. I'll be reading from the Australian Government Department of Home Affairs. You can check them out too. And remember, guys, I'm not an immigration lawyer or immigration officer. Do well to do your own research. Whatever I give now is based on my own research. Okay, so the visa invites workers with skills we need to live and work permanently anywhere in Australia. The first thing, you don't need a sponsor or nominator. Remember, it's independent. It's not like the 186. It's not like the 491, okay? Or the 190 that needs a state nomination. You don't need a sponsor or nominator. You must be invited to apply. You cannot just apply. So that's where you do your expression of interest, and then they send you an invitation to apply. You must be under 45 years to be invited. Now, once everything is okay, you stay permanently, and the cost is 4,765 Australian dollars. So for the processing time, for an indication of processing times for the visa, use visa processing time guide tool that you're asked to use to know. This will show the processing times for recent decided application. It's a guide only and not specific for your applications. Of course, people differ. Your own application might be different from other people's own. Okay, so there's still New Zealand stream, and there's Hong Kong stream, and all of that. Okay, so the next one will be the 190 visa, which is the state nomination. So the 190 state nomination visa is the one that the states, example, like I used Victoria, that says, okay, we want to invite you to apply. Okay, that one gives 5 points. So let's say you have 60 points again already with your age, your IELTS, educational background, and all of that. The state gives you an additional 5 points to add to what you have. Okay, so I think this is also a better way, because a lot of people go for the 189 because they want that independent. They don't want to be tied down with a state, because if you're going with 190, you have to live in the state for about 2 years, yes, before you can leave the state. So a lot of people don't want to have that whole rule of staying in one place for 2 years, 3 years. No, they just want to be free, flexible. So a lot of people go for the 189, but then again, it's very competitive. The 189 is very competitive. It's the one you sponsor yourself. You don't need an employer, you don't need the state. You're the one that gets all the points by yourself. So the 190 subclass skilled nominated visa. This visa lets nominated skilled workers live and work in Australia as permanent residents. Now, you stay permanently, and the cost is from 4,770 Australian dollars. And as well, for the processing time, you have to check the visa processing time guide tool. Okay, so with this visa, you can work and stay anywhere in Australia. Okay, sponsor eligible relatives for permanent residents. You see, you can actually sponsor your relatives for permanent residents. If eligible, you can become an Australian citizen. So there are places you can check your eligibility, have an occupation. Then you must have an occupation on the relevant skills list. There's a skilled list. You check if your profession is eligible. Have a suitable skills assessment for the occupation, as I mentioned earlier. Be invited to apply for this visa. Satisfy the points test. So yes, that is that for 190. So the next one will be the 491 visa, but this one, guys, is the regional area. Like you're gonna live in the regional area for about 3 years. It's a temporary visa, yes, but after 3 years you're eligible to apply for the 191, which is a permanent residence visa. Okay, but still is a pathway to the PR, not like you're getting the PR immediately like the 186 and the 189. This one is a pathway to PR. So once you've lived in a certain regional area for 3 years, you're eligible for the 191 visa. Okay, the regional area gives you 15 points. Let's say you're struggling to get to the 65 points, or you have 65 points and you still want like an additional 15 points that will put you on the high place where the other people have 85, right? Once you have your 60 points already, the regional area gives you 15 points. That's when you want the 491. So 60 plus 15 gives about 75, isn't it? Yes. So sometimes when you don't have any of the option, or you can't get to that 65 points, or you need something higher, you can go for the 491 regional visa. Okay, automatically after that 3 years you're eligible for PR of 191 visa. Okay, the eligibility is be nominated to apply by a state or territory government agency, or an eligible relative must sponsor you. Have an occupation, or next one is have an occupation on a relevant skilled occupation list. Have a suitable skills assessment for the occupation. Be invited to apply. Satisfy the points test. Okay, skilled work regional and her main applicant. So this is a provisional visa. It is for skilled workers who want to live and work in regional area. Then the first thing is you stay in Australia for 5 years, live, work and study in a designated regional area of Australia, travel to and fro from Australia as many times as you want while the visa is valid. Apply for permanent residence after 3 years from the time your visa is granted. So it is for 5 years, and the cost is 4,790 Australian dollars, and of course the processing time varies, and you can check with the visa processing time guide. All right, so this one automatically after the 3 years you can now apply for the visa for 191 PR visa. Okay, after 3 years that's the one you apply next. Okay, a lot of people go for writing IELTS to make sure they get more than band 7, more than band 8 to get to that high mark. Okay, there are other visas, there are other temporary visas, but these ones are the ones if you're looking to get your PR, and make sure you have all your documents checked and you have everything intact before you go for the expression of interest. Okay, and yes guys, don't forget to look out for my next video, which will be how to calculate your points for the Australian PR. Okay, and also guys, also watch my other videos on how I got registered with the APRA Australian to get my nursing license. Watch my other videos. I'll be leaving them down on the description. Okay, thank you for sticking around to the end of this video, and hope to see you next one. Bye bye.